So let's have a think about the factors that were contributing to that stress building up. I mean, you had a lot going on, didn't you? One, you'd obviously been through the original diagnosis. Two, you had the implants, which hadn't really gone well initially. And three, you had persistent pain.
Yeah.
Which was
I have persistent pain.
Still ongoing.
I'm still fidgeting now, and yeah, I've still got a potato in my bra, and my bra's too small. And occasionally this potato gets spikes. So instead of it being a heavy, at the moment it's, as I'm sitting here, it's a heavy, uncomfortable. It's not pain as much as it's very uncomfortable, but it also has spikes on it, and then that becomes a pain in the feeling.
Now there's obviously people out there who are in different stages and different conditions, but some will identify with, you know, what you've had as well.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people about how to cope with those difficult complications?
As I say, I've been on painkillers in the hope of that helping, and I'm still on gabapentin full dose, plus I take paracetamol all day, or cocodamol if it's quite bad. So to me that is too much to take, you know, with
it's a lot of tablets.
Yeah, it's a lot of tablets, and I'm still got the uncomfortableness. So it was the thought that I'd got two choices really, and that was to have it removed and have nothing. That to me would frighten me. I think that would take me down again, because throughout this, and I have actually praised Ms. Shakui for it, when I've looked down at my breast, although I'm very uneven, which I'm also aware of, if I look down at myself, I can't see anything wrong. I haven't got a nipple, and I'm odd, but I can't see the scars. And I actually frightened my mum, and I didn't realise how it was. And I said to her, would you like to see what I've had done? And I showed her, and she cried. And I suddenly realised I can't see that, but everybody else can see what I've been through.
Is that because you'd got used to that change in appearance?
Yeah, I can still look down and not see it, which, you know, is good up here. But
was that the case even early on?
That was early on, yes. It's the constant pain that's pulled me down, I think. Not being able to go back to a normal life. A normal life as can be. Wanting to go back work because I've not been able to go back work, and I actually got judged as being a health and safety risk, and I wouldn't be allowed back work on the tablets I'm on. I actually went up to one called pregabalin, and that was being increased, and all of a sudden I was falling over, and my speech was going strange. I still do it now. It'll probably come up on this video. Every so often I miss a little bit of a word.
So you were actually noticing side effects?
I was really frightened, because I have benign MS. No signs of it. I had it in 1995, and I've not had it again since. And I thought, because I was tripping over, my speech was going, the MS was back. So I had to go and have an MRI scan, and I seen a doctor, the neurologist, but that's all come back fine. That's not returned. So then it was turned to these tablets. So I have dropped back down to gabapentin now, and I'm not falling over, and my speech is nearly back. So yeah, that showed that those were too much.
They were too strong for you?
Yeah. So although I'm in more pain again, at least I'm not falling over, I'm going to break something.
Now one thing that people say is about pain, if you try to keep active and maybe do more, just the fact that you're doing these other activities can act as a form of useful distraction from the pain.
So the first thing I started was, I call it the Granny Keep Fit. There's an over 60s Keep Fit in the village, so I started that. Sit down for half hour, stand up for half hour. And that actually gave me my movements back, which was really good. So then I started on it's Zumba Gold, which is again for the over 60s. Sit down half an hour, stand up half an hour, but more intense than the Keep Fit. And now I do a regular Zumba. I'm a Zumba freak, but the first thing I was told was I wouldn't get this reconstruction unless I lost some weight. Now part of my therapy with Jules was to go for a walk, to go outside and just go and get some fresh air and think. And I used to have an old bridle path up the village, because I used to ride a horse, so I know where the bridle paths are, full of mud and puddles, and I'd go and put my wellies on and go up there and play. And it was very embarrassing if people caught me, but I think that was the start of my cure, because suddenly I was enjoying to be out. I wasn't thinking of myself, my pains. Then my son said, why don't you have yourself a little iPod and have some music on? So he sold me one. Didn't give it to me, he sold it me. Put all my CDs on, my whole collection on this iPod.
And what kind of music do you like?
I've got everything. I've got Steps, I've got Queen, country and west. I've got all sorts. I've got a very wide range, even some club music. I find that the Venga Boys is a very good walk-in tunes.
Oh, so you
Steps.
listen to this when you go out?
Now I'm walking 6 miles, and I just walk and walk, put my earphones on, and that has actually put my head right. And in 2 months I've lost 1.5 stone. My body is not just the weight, my body has tightened, strengthened, fitter. I mean, I walk up the hills without, being out of breath. And the Taxotere, as I said, when I had my chemo, left my bones really bad. And up till about 3 or 4 months ago, I was still having to walk down the stairs holding both sides in the mornings. Very, very sore. This walking and the losing weight has helped this as well.
Would you recommend that regime to other people?
I think that through chemo and through it all, you do go downhill. Some people don't. I've heard of some that don't, but I think if you put your weight on with your steroids, you sit about, you're uncomfortable, you eat, you watch the telly, and you don't realise that it's not just the weight, it's your whole muscle tone of your whole body that you lose.
They call it deconditioning, don't they?
Yeah.
When you've been unwell or inactive for a period of time.
Yeah.
It takes quite an effort to start again.
It does, and I think it took probably a month. I wasn't losing any weight at all. Suddenly, my husband said, "You look different." And although my weight hadn't gone, my muscle tone had picked up, and I think that caused me then to want to walk further. I would like to lose more weight, but I've got to be careful I don't lose too much, so there's no tummy fat for Mr. Varma after Christmas. I'm at my target weight now, so I just keep that now. People
will be interested, what's the effect of the exercise on the pain?
None at all, really. It just, as I say, it's permanently there.
What about during the exercise?
It doesn't make it any worse or any better. It's just always, I can feel it.
Is it less noticeable when you're exercising? Because your mind's not...
Sometimes, yeah. But Sue gave me a relaxation CD, which I've tried. And it is nice, and you tighten and you loosen, and everything's lovely. And I can lie there and I feel very relaxed, except for this weight on my chest. And even then, I have got this weight on my chest. It's something I can deal with, but something I want to get rid of, I think. As I say, if I wasn't taking the tablets, I would say I'd live with it, because I could take something if it got too much. But to be sitting with it and all that medication as well, it just gave me the decision. I always said I wouldn't have the massive operation, but I think it's got to be done just to try. There's no guarantee, but I've been told there's no guarantee, but at the same time this implant needs to come out. Give it a fresh start. I mean, my one example, again, Mr. Varma said, describe the pain. So I said the potato and the tight bra. I says, now, inside there, where my breast's been removed, is that healed up, or is that still a raw wound? He says, oh, no, that'll be healed up in there. I said, well, it doesn't feel like it. It feels now like, and it's actually getting sore as I'm sitting here, because I'll soon be due for tablets. It feels now like that is pressing on a grazed, a sore. If you've got a graze, how sore it is, that is how it feels all the while. It's like that area that big is just sore. So although it's not what I'd call probably a pain all the while, there's always a feeling all the while.
Did you ever try any alternative pain reliefs? For example, a TENS machine, which is electrical stimulation.
No.
Or complementary treatments? Acupuncture, aromatherapy?
No, I
anything like
haven't.
that?
No.
Would you be interested in any of those?
No, I think at the moment I'm
You've got a plan.
I've got
You know
the
where you're
plan.
going.
I'm going with this now.